point of us being here is to talk to the very lovely, the very talented Kim Rhodes. She is one of one of the stars of Supernatural. She's also been on the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. So, Kim, you basically, I mean, you've been, you've worked for Disney apparently in the past. Now you're on a horror show. What I really want to ask you is right off the bat, who is more frightening, the Disney fans or the horror fans?
Wow. In terms of actually frightening, potential to do
who gives you the creeps
bodily
more?
Injury and potential to bite me, that's the Disney fans, because they're right at gut level. If they cut me, they're hitting a vital organ.
Because the Disney fans, whenever I think of Disney fans, I think of Clark Griswold in Vacation. I mean, this is a super scary guy who will do anything to visit a cartoon character. I mean, he will kill an ant. He will do whatever he needs to do to visit a wacky park. It's nuts.
I have one degree of separation in being the Disney parent. So usually any true insanity is aimed at the boys, and they're like, where are they? What are they doing right now? Do you still keep in contact with them? When was the last time you talked to them? And they are actually
like you're responsible.
Yes. During the height of the show, people actually got my home number and would call asking if Dylan or Cole were there. And I'm like, you know enough to know my last name is Rhodes and I'm playing a character. Right. So why do you think other people with a different last name would be living in my home when we're not working? I just didn't grasp the insanity that went behind calling my house to see if Dylan or Cole were there. I'm like,
that is completely insane.
They're at their house. Strange child. Does your mommy know you're using her office phone to make these phone calls?
I mean, at some point, Kim, I mean, you're obviously a super nice girl. I mean, at any point, do you lose it with these people? I mean, I know what it's like to be out there and, dealing with people that have high regard for you, that like your stuff. You need to be polite. But at some point when people are crossing the line like that, you got to get a little pissed off.
It was an interesting exercise for me, because specifically for Disney, those people were children. And I did get pissed off. I absolutely got pissed off. And then I realized I was getting pissed off at their behavior, assuming the person doing the behavior was a sentient adult being. And it wasn't, It was a child. And so if I had reacted from my anger, like the cost to risk ratio, risk to reward, like whatever it took for me to react would land on them a billion times bigger than I intended it. So if I even, like a kid calling my house and going, is Zach or Cody there? If I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that could potentially scar a child for life.
It can. But these are adults calling you,
no, these
right?
were children calling me.
They were children.
These were children calling me. And so I just had to.
You got to be nice. You have to.
These are kids, and I'm somewhat responsible for how they, no matter how inappropriate they are, the way I react in this moment is going to really hit home. So,
well, you could simply just say, "Can you put your mom or dad on the phone real quick?" And then just be like, "What the fuck are you people doing?"
I actually did call one number back and left a message and said, "I just want you to know your child is making these phone and." If I had asked the child to meet me at 10 o'clock at a payphone on a street corner, your kid could be dead right now. Please pay attention to what they're doing.
Get your fucking act together.
Yeah,
that's dark. That's really dark.
Yeah, that's because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, these are you have a whole world of opportunity available to you that is dark and hideous when you're someone on a Disney Channel show. Right. Like, yes, as a matter of fact, I am Kim Rhodes. Do you want to come work for me?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Suddenly you're like Mr. Horton from Different Strokes, the bicycle shop owner.
See? Come on.
Oh, the very
Yeah.
special
Hey
episode.
Dudley, you want to play Neptune, King of the Sea?
Right. So you
mean,
can see how I then ended up with a shotgun shooting zombies on Supernatural.
right, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, of course.
It was already in me.
One more thing on Disney. I mean, my whole theory with them was with Disney is that I honestly think it's like it's more their fans are more adults than children. I think because it just seems to me that the adults get more excited about, say, going to Disney World than a child would, or at least equal.
There's so many different factions of Disney. Like there's the Disney movies, there's the Disney theme parks. I was Disney Channel, and Disney Channel is solid kids.
Right.
It's marketing the girls that want to grow up and be music stars. It's marketing to the boys who don't understand pies and farts have been around for a really long time. They think they've just discovered something new. So Disney Channel was definitely hardcore children and a small group of 22-year-olds that smoked a lot of pot.
So Kim, Supernatural comes along,
Yeah.
and this is completely different. And I'm watching you on the show today, and first of all, you're absolutely fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
There's no doubt about it. Supernatural is a show of pretty faces, but it's really well done. It's extremely well acted. The storylines we've stretched over what now, like 9 seasons?
Yep.
And it's still going strong.
Yeah.
I was talking to some fans of our show about Supernatural online this week, and I mean, these people are just like all over it. They love Sheriff Jody Mills. Love it.
I would love to take an iota of credit for it, and I can't. It had, like, I was not supposed to recur. And then I was not supposed to continue recurring. And then the writers just keep fleshing this character out and making her better and better and better. And I really honestly, I can just show up, do what I'm told, and the results are entirely in everybody else's hands.
But it has to do with your very first appearance on the show, Kim, right? I mean, you obviously impressed these people enough where they were like, you know what, let's work her into some of these storylines here.
I think it's can you
give yourself some credit,
Well,
Kim.
you know what? I think it's can you play in their league? Like you said, yeah. It's a show that would be really, really easy to underestimate. And then you watch it and go, oh, holy crap. It's intricate and confusing and funny and wonderful. And I am very humbled and honored to be playing with these boys. And I do mean all of the boys across the board, not just Jared and Jensen. But they run a fast race, and so I think it was like, well, let's drop her in the deep end and see if she can swim. And since I'm still going, they're like, great, let's throw more sharks in with her. Hit it.
Is this your first time playing a cop?
No, I've done. There's this weird thing in Hollywood where if you have short hair, you must be a cop or a lesbian. So I have played quite a few. I played a cop on CSI. Right. I played a cop. I'm trying to remember if my character was a lawyer or a police officer on Family Law. But no, I've played a number of. It's not the first time I played a cop, but it was definitely the first time I got to play a cop who got to shoot anybody. Woohoo!
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, the whole hey, listen, I am not a gun advocate at all. Like, I am completely and entirely against handguns and just guns in general.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like I'm already stuttering just thinking about them. That's how much. Listen, I understand that some people enjoy the game of hunt and blah blah blah. I understand that it's a part of our world, but even with all that dislike that I have for guns, if I was acting and somebody gave me a badge and a gun on set, I would be excited about holding the gun.
It's really.
I mean, it's got to be you know what I'm saying? Like when you put that freaking uniform on and you got the badge and you got the gun and you got the handcuffs. I mean, you have to have this freaking feeling that's awesome.
Well, but that's the attraction of acting in general, isn't it? It's like,
right.
Hey,
yes.
I get to go play pretend as a grown-up, and I get to pretend with fucking awesome props.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like
Yes.
I get to wave my magic wand and shit shoots out of it. That's brilliant.
Right. Yeah, it is
So
brilliant.
it's for me. It wasn't. I am also opposed to guns in general. Like there's a lot of nuances within this, but and I think everybody
Right.
has. But I'm opposed to it because of my real life, personal experience and perspective. So different people have different perspectives and they have different beliefs. I think that way about everything. So it's like, all right. But when I play pretend, one of the awesome things about playing pretend is getting to pretend I'm somebody different from who I am. And within
Right.
that, it's like, would Kim Rhodes actually go out and shoot the shit out of people? Well, I don't know. Maybe if they were zombies and it really was the apocalypse, perhaps, but I probably wouldn't have as good an aim. But that's the
Well,
draw of
perhaps with some
acting.
good editing, you might have some better aim.
Right, exactly. I need to make sure that Ryan's there with his special effects to fix it.
Of course. Is Mills to you your favorite character you've ever played?
Yes, on
By far.
television. Yes.
On television. Yes. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're so into this thing. I mean, you really light up a scene. I mean, you're intense in this, Kim. I mean, really intense.
Well, it's like living your life at a trot, and then somebody goes, gallop, just run, just go, just open it up, or even that implies physical exertion, which I'm not a big fan of. So let's rephrase this. Let's say it's like driving a Ferrari in second gear and somebody putting you on a racetrack and saying hit it. That's what it feels like to me. Like really getting to open it up and see what I can do, and for a show like Supernatural, too far is still not far enough. So
Right.
there is no danger that somebody's going to be like, whoa, slow down there, girl. We're just doing 60 in this, track around here. It's just fun.
Right. Kim, you have so much friggin' energy. Is it Red Bull? Is it coffee? Is it natural? What the hell's going on over there with you?
It's being the mother of a 6-year-old trying to keep up with her and being so far away from Canada.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Dave is Canadian, by
I
the
know,
way.
that's why I said that. Dave's enthusiasm and verbosity has floored me so far.
Verbosity.
Shut up, Dave. I'm
Nice.
trying to be
Hey,
interviewed
Dave-
here.
Well, listen, Dave is going to jump in. He does have a couple of questions for you before I turn you over to our mad Canadian. Kim, tell me about Jeff Fong.
Oh my gosh, okay. Now, what do you know about Jeff Fong? Was this kind of I'm looking at Kim's stuff and
this name pops up.
Yeah.
But what's exciting to me, and listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm not Conan O'Brien. I'm not going to pretend that I know, a bunch of information. But I do know this: actors like to work with certain directors,
Yeah.
and if they could do it over and over again, they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen so many great collaborations since the history of film. I mean, since it was invented. But this dude, you keep going back and back and back,
Yep.
and I just want to know what the hell is going on
Absolutely.
in this relationship.
And I work for free for him. Well, so I met Jeff when he was a boom operator on a small little project I worked on. And he was like, I like the way you think. I think that you'd be really cool to work with. I want to work with you. And I was like, I like the way you think. You're really awesome. Let's work together.
It was that simple.
Well, yes and no. In the industry that I inhabit, there is not a lot of room for branching out. Like the role I play on Supernatural, I probably wouldn't book today. If they knew what it was going to turn into, they probably wouldn't cast me because I'm sitcom mom. It's
Right.
That's my little tiny role. Whereas
Right.
Jeff is the kind of guy that goes, okay, I've got this character. She's a librarian only for weapons for assassins. So she's really, really nervous that any one of them is going to get pissed off and kill her, but she's also really, really good at telling you how to kill people. So do you want to play that? Like nobody else on this planet would go, a librarian for implements of destruction. Kim Rhodes, sure. But
Yes.
Jeff does. Jeff just has got this brain that
Right.
I adore. And then he's the one who's like, sure, I did one piece for him. He has a series that was following this very quirky young man named Galen. And I played myself only as a very bitter acting teacher. Like what Kim Rhodes has turned into is an acting teacher that ultimately is so bitter. I seduce this kid and fuck him just for my own ego boost. Like nobody
Wow.
else is ever gonna say, yes, Kim Rhodes, I see you doing this.
Yeah, let's get her in. Yes, of course.
So,
Right.
So add to that. So Jeff is another one of those people that just kind of goes, here's the racetrack, go, run, fly.
Right.
And he's funny and smart and really passionate about his point of view.
It sounds like he is willing to get the dark side out of you, and that's a place I think that's a place where you want to go. I think, just talking with you for the past 20 minutes or so, it seems to me that this is like darkness is something that interests you, and you get a little taste of it with Jody Mills, but this is something I think that you would really, really like to explore.
You know what? I wouldn't call it darkness so much as I would fearlessness.
Gotcha.
I think that there's so many decisions made by so many people because there's so many dollars on the line that very few people are willing to go, I don't know, fuck it, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And Jeff really is willing to go, I don't know, fuck it, let's see what happens.
Well, because casting over the past, since Marion Doherty, it's become like an art form, and it's become like there's like a, there's a schematic for it, and you got to follow it almost exactly.
Yeah.
It seems. So when you get in, when you're dealing with these, bigger television and bigger films, when there's even just a little bit of money being thrown around, everybody's super fucking careful.
Yep.
And
Everybody's
the thing
scared.
is, exactly. And they're like, well, we need to get, this, we got to get, whatever, De Niro to play the mob guy and Pacino to play the cop and blah, blah, blah. And it just all becomes bullshit, and it doesn't work after a while. That's why, and we have listen, there's no doubt about it. There's exciting cinema out there. A few times, like 3, 4, 5 times a month, I watch shit that has come out over the past few years that blows me away. It's not popular, but there is stuff out there. What I would like to see, I would love to see the world get back to where, we're taking chances. We're taking chances again on making art and making things good. We need to do this, Kim.
Yeah, and it's like you said, it's not working. I laugh when, I see a role that I would have been perfect for on a television show, and it's being played by somebody that, she goes from sitcom to sitcom to show to show to show. Yes, this is her 5th show in the last 5 years because they all get canceled.
And they keep giving it to her.
Okay, well, she's coming straight off of, at some point, but that's also kind of sour grapes. That's easy for me to say because I'm the one nobody's taking a risk on. But that's also part of my joy when I encounter somebody that's like, hey, let's see what could happen. We might all fall flat on our faces, but fuck it. Let's give it a shot.
Fuck it. Exactly. Let's die trying, man. Let's do it. We're talking with Kim Rhodes of Supernatural, and we're talking about so many different great things. Kim, you're absolutely fabulous. I'm going to turn you over for a few minutes to Dave. Dave has a few questions for you. Dave, what's going on over there?
I'm just enjoying. I'm sitting back and I'm enjoying the conversation.
I wish I'm ready to sit back and listen to her. So I'm going to go ahead and do that.
It's been a lot of fun. Well, first off, just on the point about casting and all that shit, it's really refreshing to just talk to somebody who's going to be real about it. And just straight up, not being, I better not say anything because who knows who's listening, right? And
I can't. Lying takes too much work, and I'm too lazy.
Exactly, and
I can never remember what I lied about or to whom, so I might as well just say, "Do I mean this from my heart?" Yeah, okay, here you go.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I just more of that it would be awesome because you're right. It's not working. It's not like this formula that has arisen over the years isn't working. It's a failure, and it's a dismal failure. And
every time somebody breaks out of it, and all of a sudden, oh my God, there's this new huge hit full of faces we've never seen before, and people we wouldn't think can be stars. Let's try to copy it. No.
Right.
No, the reason it was a success is because it's not a copy of anything.
Right. Like The Sopranos.
Yes!
You know, that's.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, there's like odes to what Scorsese and Coppola do, but these were all fresh faces for the most part.
Yeah.
You know, and then Gandolfini, I love James Gandolfini. You know, he was awesome. I mean, then he becomes a superstar because they were willing to take a chance. You know, and they could have went. Listen, they were going to go a Baldwin route, I think, initially, and David Chase was like, "Fuck this, man! I'm going with James Gandolfini," and look what happens.
Yeah. Well, I think Orange is the New Black is also like, oh, look. You know, a couple of faces we know, but certainly not. We never would have pictured them as inmates.
Right.
And really taking risky, cool choices and making the choices about the work. That's the other thing. Like, I don't mind. Fine, cast somebody who's a megastar. But when you cast somebody who's a megastar in a role that they're wrong for,
right,
that's just unfair to that's condescending to me as a viewer. Like, oh,
Absolutely.
I'm going to watch it because I recognize the name. No, the name will get me in. Them being good will make me come back.
Right. Like Bryan Cranston. I mean, this guy was just, you know, he was doing what he does what you do, Kim.
Yes.
You know, he's like bopping around from sitcom to sitcom. He had a hit sitcom. There's no doubt about it. And there was a darkness to him there, but it's still comedy for the most part. He gets an opportunity to star in this wacky story, and look where he took it, man. Yeah. You know, he's knocking. They knock down walls, that show.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then you watch a show like Fargo, you know, another show that just was absolutely amazing, and they're doing the same thing, and it's out there, but it's not, you know, it should be more.
It's not the norm.
Yeah, Dave, continue.
Sorry, hi Dave.
That's fine. It's totally cool. That's I like this conversation because it speaks to the problem that we have sometimes in the entertainment world, right? Where things get like this, get the way they are now. So it's nice to sort of talk it out. But I'm going to take things on a totally different tack here a little bit, because I want to know if you believe in the supernatural at all.
Ooh, fancy schmancy. Well, I never want to cross interviews. So I will just briefly say that, I did a whole interview with a woman who is she has a paranormal show. I strongly believe in the supernatural, but not in any way that is portrayed dramatically. Like, I don't believe in the cinematic supernatural. I definitely believe that there are more things than can be detected by my five senses. And I have had experiences that cannot be explained rationally, that simply can't. You just can't go, oh, well, that's because of X, Y, and Z. You just kind of go.
Yeah, like Justin Bieber's popularity, things like that.
Exactly. Well, I could probably explain that to mass consciousness and a failure to human karma. That's punishment for us for something. We did something horrible in it might be World War II. I don't know.
Possibly. The Biebs is here to punish us all.
The Biebs is here to punish us, dude.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, another thing that I noticed, when I was kind of doing my research on you, which is gotta be creepy, right? I mean, it's creepy that people are like out doing their research on you.
Well,
I'm like trolling. I'm trolling your Twitter feed today. Yeah.
Well, it's fun also to see what people, because I have so many again, I don't lie, but I have a lot of different, like even just Twitter. I've got the supernatural fans, and then I've got a few Disney fans, and then I've got a whole nother world of people that I love dearly, that some of them don't even know I'm an actor. And it's the activist side of Twitter, and the anonymous people, and the Yetis and the ninjas, and the what are we going to do with PayPal 14 and stuff like that. And it's like, just that alone, there's a lot of aspects. So I'm interested to hear which stood out to you.
Well, it's what I just find interesting and is like how creepy it can be sometimes. Looking in on discussions where people are talking about your life, right? So, like, I was reading, for example, like speculation about you being pregnant on IMDb. Back in 2006 and stuff like that. And it's like, I noticed she seemed what had to be a little bump, on this episode. And it's crazy, right? Like, do you pay any attention to what people are saying about you online, or do you just tune that out?
Yeah, do you troll Kim Rhodes?
Do I troll Kim Rhodes? No, but I ship her a lot.
Man, see, now that's impressive. So you're shipping now. You get that? Okay,
I ship me.
I'm impressed.
And a number of
ship
other
me
things.
all the time too, honey. Don't worry. Okay?
Have you Googled yourself lately? Well, no, but I wouldn't tell you if I had. There's a fine. It's not a fine line. I don't give a fuck what people. It's none of my business what people say about me. Do people, I'm the wrong height on Wikipedia. Someplace said I had 8 kids. There are going to be people who thrive on drama and who, for some reason or another, something about me triggers something in them that they attach to. I don't pay attention to those. However, there's also a separation that happens when you just kind of put stuff out on Twitter. And a couple of times I've had people say, hey, that actually was not very cool what you just said there. And it's been incredible for me to be able to look at it and go, what? Oh, holy shit, you're right. That was not the person I want to be. And so I have had some incredible learning experiences from things that easily could have just been passed over or ignored, from people who, speak up and go, that viewpoint you just espoused right there, that's something we call victim blaming. Oh, yeah. Fuck, you're totally right. Oh my God. And so I've learned some great lessons from paying attention to what people say to me. But to me, it's pretty clear what's the difference between somebody speculating on whether or not I'm pregnant and, I heard she does half a bottle of vodka a day, and somebody saying, wow, you actually really unintentionally just offended a large portion of the population. And I can step back and go, oh, I sure did. I'm very sorry.
Well, yeah, ultimately one thing's constructive to you and one thing is not.
Yeah, and one thing is just other people's shit that they decide to fling in my direction, but it's my choice if I catch it or not.
Because I'm telling you right now, there's talk of a porno movie out there.
Woohoo!
Oh God.
Right? So I don't know. I didn't follow that thread too far.
Dave,
promise,
do me a favor. Send me that link, please.
That's Ty Olson. Often, whenever we do appearances together, he's always like, now y'all know that the first time I saw Sweet Life Zach and Cody with my kids, the first thing I did was Google Sweet Life Mom Naked. There are no nude pictures of Kim out there. No.
How many fathers do you think were doing that? Because, they're watching the show with their kids. I watch a lot, I watch shows with my kid.
I'd say more power to them. If I gave them 2 round things to focus on in the miasma of children's programming, then I did my job.
Nice. So, do you ever get, someone who's in the public eye, someone who people will have the experience of recognizing, right? Have the experience, I know that person from somewhere. Who do you get mistaken for?
Oh.
And how do you react when you get mistaken for people?
Yeah, that's a great question. We've had people on our show. It's so funny you mentioned that, Dave, because we just talked to Brian Dennehy recently, and he would get this is really funny. He would get mistaken for Charles Durning.
Oh my God!
Wow.
Wait, can I have an autograph? And then they look at the autograph and go, "Oh, you're not who I thought you were."
And Brian, Denny, he's like a Golden Globe winner, a two-time Tony Award winner, and he's getting.
Come on.
I mistook Bryan Singer for David Fincher.
Oh well, that's a little different.
And,
I mean, they're directors, Dave.
Yeah.
Well, and this was like before Fincher was sort of a big deal.
Right.
And I ended up telling Bryan Singer that I really loved Fight Club.
Oh shit.
Oh.
And he just looked at me and was like, "Yeah, man, great."
Oh shit, I did too. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, great. You love Fight Club? I like it.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't tell
dude.
Bryan Singer that you loved Superman Returns.
That's true. It's probably also a good thing I wasn't like 18 and had washboard abs, or
Well, see?
I would have been in some trouble too.
Rejection is God's protection.
It's true. It's true. I should have been more attractive. Life could have changed for me. But there you go.
I know the feeling.
The other thing I want to talk to you about, because I got to say, this was the big thing that jumped out at me that I was like, man, I'm really excited. I want to talk to Kim about this because I'm interested, is this Atlas Shrugged movie.
Oh, okay.
I really want to know what your relationship
She's ready to
is,
rock and
man.
roll.
I know. Well, it was Atlas Shrugged Part 2. Came
Boogaloo.
about Electric Boogaloo. It kind of was. Came about because I did a comedy called Beethoven's Christmas, I think was what it was called. Ultimately, it went through a few different incarnations. But the director was somebody I absolutely fell in love with. I adored him. We worked well together. We hit it off. And he was directing Atlas Shrugged. So he said...
That's John Putch?
Yeah, John Putch. So he brought me in and was like, look, I know there's a lot of stuff around the material. My job is just to make a good movie. I was like, well, all right, I trust you. Again, when you've got a director that you trust, half of my job is done for me, and that half is the worrying part. So I can just like, all right. And there was an incredible cast in it. And I got to work with Jason Begay. Like, he's a
from Monkey Shine.
Yeah, dude.
First and 10.
He is such a
Tom
powerhouse.
Unessa, First and 10.
And we got a scene together that was just two people ripping each other apart verbally. And it was so much fun that I didn't really worry about all the stuff around it. It came out, it was not seen widely, and it went away. But it did bring up as an actor, do you have to believe in the message of a movie to be in the movie? And I said, no, I don't. I don't have to believe because I'm playing a character. If I were me endorsing me, because Kim Rhodes works for the ASPCA. I do commercials that come on and kill your buzz and fuck you up and make you hate me because they're about puppies that are being abused and destroy and die. You know, it's those commercials, and that's me. I do have.
Those are the worst, Kim. Yeah. I can't. I'm a smoker, and the worst is the smoking ones.
Oh, see, I could never watch them, which is why I do them, because I feel like I'm paying back for all of the money that I didn't send by not being able to watch the commercials. I was like, I will do these things for you guys for free forever because I love you and I can't watch them. And those, I do believe in that I have to support the cause. But as an actor, I don't feel like I have to support the cause at all. In commercials, that's a fine line. I have said I will not, there's a few companies I will not audition for because I'm so passionately against how they do business. But there's other things where I'm kind of like, yeah, but somebody's going to get paid. Somebody's going to get their money, and it might as well be me.
You know, I talked to an actor, Michael Benier, about 2 weeks ago, who he's Jewish, but he's got that very like Semitic look. He looks basically Arabic.
Oh,
and so he gets cast in all, like, you just go through his credits and it's like terrorist number 2. And, you know, and in one film he was actually cast as Khaled Sheikh Mohammed.
Wow.
And So for like my stinger question with this guy, because I was there talking to him about a video game that he did voice at work for, and at the end I just said, "Listen, do you ever feel conflicted? Like when your agent says, 'Hey, I want you to go read for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed,' like, are you conflicted about that?" And the first thing he stopped, and there was a long pause, and he was like, "Yes." And he goes, "First off, I'm Jewish. And second off, it comes down to this. We play make-believe. You know, right. This is make-believe. This is not reality. And I look at it as I'm a working actor. If I don't take the work, someone else will."
Yeah. Yeah. I for something like,
and plus stories need to be told too, Dave.
Absolutely, 100%. It's like 100%.
Well, now
there's a thing I actually disagree with, because there are enough. I have turned down auditions because I feel they unnecessarily perpetuate a misogynistic viewpoint.
Yes.
I think that, yes, stories do need to be told, but when you are perpetuating the myth that a female is expendable, is ownable, is objectifiable, there are times when I'm going to go, I'm just not, I will not do this. The only reason this character exists is so the bad guy has somebody to rape and show that he's a bad dude. No, I won't do it. The only reason this character exists is so the main dude can go through woman after woman after woman after woman, showing how, gosh, he'll fuck anything.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go in for that, because I think there's already too much perpetuation of a stereotype that's hurtful to women.
But what if the film is about it is about that man, but it's showing how vile and disgusting that behavior is.
That's a different story. It's not glorifying it. It's using it to show, to make a point. That is a point I agree with. So I'm not saying, oh, I refuse to be objectified. If I'm playing a character that's objectified for a very specific reason, which is basically to show how shitty it is to objectify a woman, I'll still go for it. But if it's just, I recently was asked to go in for a music video in which the lead singer, the person, was hitting on MILFs. And I was like, wow, it actually says that in the breakdown, that MILFs are the ultimate conquest. And wow, this guy will fuck anybody, even a 45-year-old. Whoa!
Even.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was like, it's the ultimate conquest, and he'll do anything to get to a woman with some age and experience. And I went, I'm not going in for that.
Jeez. Now, what's the difference between a MILF and a cougar?
You know what? I have no fucking clue. Apparently a MILF is someone's mother.
There you go.
Cougar just is old.
Oh man, we're talking with Kim Rhodes from Supernatural. She's laying down what the difference between a MILF and a cougar is for us. We totally appreciate that, Kim, and we totally appreciate your time. Hey, listen, I gotta bring this up because it caught my eye today when I was on your Twitter feed. Why are you're insulting Catholics out there on Twitter?
No, oh no. No, that was one of those experiences.
Which I don't have a problem with, by the way.
I posted something. There was some excerpts. The Huffington Post had some excerpts of an interview that the current Pope, had. And I think I posted something like, if he keeps this up, I'm going to have to start liking the guy. And somebody commented.
Well, here's the thing: he is somewhat of a. I am not for the Catholic Church. I'm not into any of that stuff. But he is a likable guy, and he's a different kind of Pope that we've seen.
He has said, of what I've seen. Now, I am way, way, way out of the context of seeing a lot of what he says. But from what I've seen, he said some things that really can have the potential to reshape how we view the world. And I agree, and I happen to agree with them. So I made that comment, and somebody else pointed out, wow, I hope you're not somebody who jumps to, basically, the person said, you're baiting. You're assuming this person is not likable because they are a leader of Christianity. I hope you're not that judgmental. And so I wasn't if I did offend any Catholics, I apologized. I wanted to clarify. I starting to like him not because he's Catholic, but starting to like him because he's in a position of power and authority, and I pretty much hate everybody who's don't like the president, don't like not a big fan of the Kremlin. I don't fucking like anybody. I don't like bosses. If you come with a because I said so and I can note attached to you, I'm going to look at you and go, oh, yeah, okay, fuck off.
So, Kim, you hate directors?
I sometimes do. Because I've never actually, I'm trying to remember if I've ever worked with, directors don't say because I said so. I have not, directors.
No, that's what parents say. Parents say that.
They don't come with the because I'm in a position of authority. They come with the I have eyes in an angle that you don't, so you have to trust what I see. And that's a totally different thing than somebody throwing their weight around and going, because I fucking said so.
Yeah. Oh, that is the one that I hate that phrase.
Yeah.
I've been out in public and I watch parents use that. It's like, if a kid is, has done something wrong or you're instructing the child to do something, they deserve an explanation.
That's my feeling on religion, too. If you believe you have all the answers, then you should encourage me to ask questions. You shouldn't say you're being blasphemous for asking a question. It's like, well, you just said you have all the answers, so why can't I ask the questions so I can hear them?
Yeah, it's tough with them. It's like I think Bill Morris says it best. Like, when you come across a religious, say a Christian who gets it, he always says, thank you for acting Christ-like and not Christian.
Well, there is a big difference. I think that Christianity has gotten a real bad label put on it because of people who aren't really acting that way. I think the same thing with feminism. Feminism has gotten, there's a lot of people now that recoil and say, I'm not a feminist, because it's gotten so associated with hatred and anger. And the same thing with Christianity, like hatred and anger. Whoa, that's some heavy duty shit.
That is a place where you don't want to go, unless you're acting, of course, Kim, and then maybe you want to visit that place.
Then I get to pretend. Then I just get to pretend.
Right. But you don't want to live there.
I really don't. I have lived there, and it wasn't very fun.
You've lived in the world of hatred and anger, personally.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow. As a young woman?
Yep. I was a very, very angry young woman. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get along with your parents?
I grew up, and now things take a turn for the dark.
Yes, now we're getting.
Yeah,
yes.
My dad was very well at the time functioning, but an alcoholic and bipolar. Okay. And he was institutionalized when I was 13. And my mom was raised by an alcoholic. So it was kind of my sister and I against our parents. We knew that we were very, very loved, but they did not have the tools to be parents. So did I get along with them?
Yeah, the disease was just too much for them.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yes, I got along with them, but it was a diseased household.
Yeah. Right. Hey, listen, I grew up in similar circumstances. So I've had mother issues for a very long time. Even to this day, my mother has completely turned her life around, and she's a wonderful, warm woman. But I still can't get over that dark past.
Yeah,
it's really difficult.
We get the disease too. Like it's a family
I know.
disease.
Well, I drink, but I drink for happiness, kid. I do. It's like I'm angry when I'm sober.
Yeah.
You give me a couple of Tito's on the rocks, I'm a happy guy.
Well, but see, there's that anger. That's what when you said, were you an angry? I was an angry young woman, and that anger got me in trouble. And boy, it gave me a lot more excuses to stay angry.
Oh man, Kim, you have been so great to talk to, and I really want to thank you for taking the time out and cutting on the Cutting Room Movie Podcast. It's really, really been special, and you've been fabulous. I really got to tell you this. You have to, if you get the time in the fall, you got to come back and talk to us. Let us know what you're doing. Maybe talk about a movie with us. That would be a lot of fun.
It would be my pleasure. I would love to.
I mean, honestly, I'm gonna invite you this fall to come on a segment and talk about a movie. I think Dave, how great would you be?
I think that would be incredible. I think that would be a lot of fun. One of the things we miss on the cutting room is I don't want to say the feminine because it almost sounds like
it's a boys' club,
but
it is a boys' club.
It's a total boys' club, and it would be really awesome to get a woman's perspective.
Oh, that would be fun. I'd love to.
Yeah, that would be a lot. I would really appreciate that.
I do pride myself in being a more loving feminist. I don't generally say things like, oh, well, that's because dudes are all thinking with their dicks. Because they might be, but that's one of the things we love about them.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's be honest. It's like, it's okay. So I'm a man loving feminist. And I would love to come, and I'd like to hear what you guys have to think, because it's always fun to get insight into, like, oh, that's because you liked it because it was shiny. Got it.
Right. Well, we can be academic here, Kim, but honestly, Dave, every review always turns into something personal.
Yeah.
It's like we just can't help it. We just bring our lives and our pasts and our and the situations we've been into these discussions, and and that's why I think we've had some success with this, because we do it differently. And Kim, you would fit, I'm telling you right now, man, you would totally fit in on a segment. I'm gonna get you back here this fall.
Okay, I'm in.
It'd be wild.
It'd be wild. You've got a premature yes from me.
The show is therapy, Kim.
It is therapy. And we can all help. Kim, we've been helping each other out here for the past hour or so. So let's continue to do that.
I'm in.
All right. Thanks a lot. Kim Rhodes from Supernatural. Thanks for joining us. Dave, thank you so much for coming on and co-hosting with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. The Cutting Room Movie Podcast is brought to you by Christiana Productions and New Media Limited. The show is edited and co-produced by Joseph Schreck and produced by yours truly, Thomas Detloff and Joe Christiana. You can like us on Facebook at the Cutting Room Movie Podcast. Follow me on Twitter, Thomas Detloff, at TCRM Podcast. You can also check out Joe's film work at ChristianaProductions.com, Max Cooks and Adam Shoulders, Bowler Hat Productions, and their Mimosa podcast show at MaxCookandTheCounselor.com. Music from The Cutting Room is done by the Zillatones. Check them out at www.thezillatones.com or search for The Zillatones at ReverbNation.com. We will be back with brand new episodes in September with Season 4. Until then, we are over and we are out. Ciao.
My home number and would call asking if Dylan or Cole were there. And I'm like, you know enough to know my last name is Rhodes and I'm playing a character. Right. So why do you think other people with a different last name would be living in my home when we're not working? I just didn't grasp the insanity that went behind calling my house to see if Dylan or Cole were there. I'm like,
that is completely insane.
They're at their house. Strange child. Does your mommy know you're using her office phone to make these phone calls?
I mean, at some point, Kim, I mean, you're obviously a super nice girl. I mean, at any point, do you lose it with these people? I mean, I know what it's like to be out there and, dealing with people that have high regard for you, that like your stuff. You need to be polite. But at some point when people are crossing the line like that, you got to get a little pissed off.
It was an interesting exercise for me because specifically for Disney, those people were children. And I did get pissed off. I absolutely got pissed off. And then I realized I was getting pissed off at their behavior, assuming the person doing the behavior was a sentient adult being. And it wasn't, It was a child. And so if I had reacted from my anger, like the cost to risk ratio, risk to reward, like whatever it took for me to react would land on them 1 billion times. I'd love to take an iota of credit for it, and I can't. It had, like, I was not supposed to recur,
And then I was not supposed to continue recurring. And then and the writers just keep fleshing this character out and making her better and better and better. And I really honestly, I can just show up, do what I'm told, and the results are entirely in everybody else's hands.
But it has to do with your very first appearance on the show, Kim, right? I mean, you obviously impressed these people enough where they were like, you know what, let's work her into some of these storylines here.
I think it's can you
give yourself some credit,
well,
Kim?
You know what? I think it's can you play in their league? Like you said, yeah. It's a show that would be really, really easy to underestimate. And then you watch it and go, oh, holy crap. It's intricate and confusing and funny and wonderful. And I am very humbled and honored to be playing with these boys. And I do mean all of the boys across the board, not just Jared and Jensen. But they run a fast race, and so I think it was like, well, let's drop her in the deep end and see if she can swim. And since I'm still going, they're like, great, let's throw more sharks in with her. Hit it.
Is this your first time playing a cop?
No, I've done. There's this weird thing in Hollywood where if you have short hair, you must be a cop or a lesbian. So I have played quite a few. I played a cop on CSI.
Point of us being here is to talk to the very lovely, the very talented Kim Rhodes. She is one of the stars of Supernatural. She's also been on the Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. So, Kim, you basically, you've worked for Disney apparently in the past. Now you're on a horror show. What I really want to ask you is right off the bat, who is more frightening, the Disney fans or the horror fans?
Wow. In terms of actually frightening, potential to do
who gives you the creeps
bodily
more?
Injury and potential to bite me, that's the Disney fans, because they're right at gut level. If they cut me, they're hitting a vital organ.
Because, the Disney fans, whenever I think of Disney fans, I think of Clark Griswold in Vacation. This is a super scary guy who will do anything to visit a cartoon character. I mean, he will kill an ant. He will, do whatever he needs to do to visit a wacky park. It's nuts.
I have one degree of separation in being the Disney parent. So usually any true insanity is aimed at the boys, and they're like, where are they? What are they doing right now? Do you still keep in contact with them? When was the last time you talked to them? And they are actually
like you're responsible.
Yes. During the height of the show, people actually got with a shotgun shooting zombies on Supernatural.
Right, which makes a lot of sense. It
was already in me.
One more thing on Disney. My whole theory with them was with Disney is that I honestly think it's like it's more their fans are more adults than children. I think because it just seems to me that the adults get more excited about, say, going to Disney World than a child would, or at least equal.
There's so many different factions of Disney. Like there's the Disney movies, there's the Disney theme parks. I was Disney Channel, and Disney Channel is solid kids. It's marketing the girls that want to grow up and be music stars. It's marketing to the boys who don't understand pies and farts have been around for a really long time. They think they've just discovered something new. So Disney Channel was definitely hardcore children and a small group of 22-year-olds that smoked a lot of pot.
So Kim, Supernatural comes along.
Yeah.
And this is completely different. And I'm watching you on the show today, and first of all, you're absolutely fabulous.
Oh, thank you.
There's no doubt about it. Supernatural is a show of pretty faces, but it's really well done. It's extremely well acted. The storylines have, we've stretched over what now, like 9 seasons?
Yep.
and it's still going strong.
Yeah.
I was talking to some fans of our show about Supernatural online this week, and I mean, these people are just like all over it. They love Sheriff Jody Mills. Love it.
I would bigger than I intended it. So if I even, like, a kid calling my house and going, is Zach or Cody there? If I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that could potentially scar a child for life.
It can. But these are adults calling you,
no, these
right?
were children calling.
They were children.
These
Okay,
were
all right.
children calling me. And so I just had to.
You gotta
keep
be
in mind
nice. You have to.
that
Yeah,
these are
right.
kids, and I'm somewhat responsible for how they, no matter how inappropriate they are, the way I react in this moment is going to really hit home. So,
Well, you could simply just say, "Can you put your mom or dad on the phone real quick?" And then just be like, "What the fuck are you people doing?"
I actually did call one number back and left a message and said, I just want you to know your child is making these phone. And if I had asked the child to meet me at 10 o'clock at a payphone on a street corner, your kid could be dead right now. Please pay attention to what they're doing.
Get your fucking act together.
Yeah,
That's dark. That's really dark.
Yeah, that's because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, these are you have a whole world of opportunity available to you that is dark and hideous when you're someone on a Disney Channel show.
Right.
Like, yes, as a matter of fact, I am Kim Rhodes. Do you want to come work for me?
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Suddenly you're like Mr. Horton from Different Strokes, the bicycle shop owner.
See? Come on.
Oh, the very
Yeah.
special
Hey,
episode.
Dudley, you want to play Neptune King of the Sea?
Right.
You know,
So you can see how I then ended up